Greetings, Earthlings! Welcome back to 7th Street.
And would you get some rest? You look terrible.
Oh boy, it's been a long time since I've said those words. Too long. I apologize for my absence there for a little bit, but I was working on a feature horror film that I wrote and directed and was the cinematographer on, tentatively called No Sleep. Now, keep your eyes open for the trailer and some other promotional videos that should be coming along down the pipeline here soon. But yeah, that's where I was. But anyway, we're back, and I'm going to do a lot better of a job with keeping the content coming. Now, the subject of today's review is, what's the subject of today's review? The subject of today's review is a little movie called Stephen King's Night Shift Collection, Volume 1, The Woman in the Room, and The Boogeyman. Stephen King's Night Shift Collection, Volume 1 is a very low-budget horror anthology movie based on short stories from Stephen King's Night Shift Collection. Duh. Believe it or not, this little movie had a bigger influence on me than the quality of this movie actually warrants. As you may well know, I was that little kid at the local movie rental store every Friday night traipsing up and down the aisle of the horror and sci-fi section, begging my dad to let me rent movies that I was clearly too young to see. For some reason, the VHS cover to this movie always caught my attention. It's so low budget and straightforward, and I'm sure that that's what I liked about it. The cover and the title, The Woman in the Room, conjures up so many wonderfully creepy images. How could I not be drawn to this movie? There are only 2 short films on this tape, and the first one is obviously The Woman in the Room. Okay, let's pop it in and experience the spooky magic.
I can't move anything and my nose itches. Isn't that a pitiful way to be, with your nose itching and not able to scratch it?
Well, this must just be the setup. I'm sure the next scene is gonna be where the spooky stuff starts.
Well, she says she still has pain. I know what the operation was supposed to do, but she says she still has pain.
I mean, they can't waste their entire load on the front half. I'm sure they're cooking us something up.
She can't walk anymore. She says she still has pain.
Alright, well, The Woman in the Room is, underwhelming. I wasn't expecting genius, but I was expecting not so boring. No joke, I had to bust out my copy of Night Shift just to reread the short story. Why on earth someone decided to adapt this short story from the compilation and not something like Suffer the Little Children is beyond me. The story is about a man named John who works an incredibly stressful job as a state defense attorney. The movie opens with John visiting his terminally ill mother in the hospital. He struggles to comfort her as she slowly wastes away right before his eyes.
You want that smoke now?
If it's not too much trouble.
Oh yeah, great. A cigarette's gonna make her feel a whole lot better. Why don't you just get her a shot of Jaeger while you're at it? Well, in the next riveting scene, we watch as John has a one-sided phone call with his brother where he explains that their mother is dying, just in case you missed that from the scene before about his mother dying. Skipping ahead to the very next scene, John meets with a client that he's representing in a murder case, and instead of, talking to the guy about the case and how he's gonna help him with the trial, John continues to blather on about his dying mother.
My mother. She's dying.
Of what?
Cancer.
Imagine that. I know that this isn't the best time, but maybe the cigarettes had something to do with it. So if you haven't already guessed by now, John is struggling with what to do about his mother. He's conflicted with whether or not he should help her pass a little bit easier. He's caught in a moral dilemma. I wonder if the psychopathic murderer has any insight on this.
Killed a friend of mine. It was that buddy of mine I told you about. When I got his legs blown away. It was my buddy. And I wasn't about to let him die of gangrene like that. After what the doctors did to him. Lying there, gaping his mouth open and shut like some kind of fish they dragged out of the water. Hell, he saved my life once. I owed him.
That night, John has a trippy David Lynch wannabe nightmare about a body bag in a wheelchair that, surprise, surprise, turns out to be Mother. This right here, this is the most exciting part of the short. In the last scene of this movie, John decides to bring a bottle of pills to his mother's hospital room, where he helps her commit suicide by eating the entire bottle. Yeah, I know that this one is going for deep, but it's not. It completely misses the mark. The movie could work, I suppose, if you actually got invested in John's moral conflict, but you don't. It's as slow as a 30-minute short could be. It's not suspenseful, and worst of all, there are no ghosts. This cover art lied to me. That almost never happens. I don't know, man. There's just not much going on here. It's low budget, I get it, but the director really doesn't do anything to punch it up. Maybe in the hands of a more competent filmmaker? Oh my god, it was directed by Frank Darabont. The second and final short on this tape is The Boogeyman, and it's a horse of a very different color. I'm gonna try not to get too carried away with this one, but I really think that this is a short that every low-budget indie horror director should see. It's a great example of using what you got to your advantage. The movie centers around Lester Billings as he tries to explain to his therapist why his children keep turning up dead at night. The actor is so unusual that I can't tell whether or not he's turning out a good performance or a bad performance.
But I did notice one thing. It didn't mean much to me then, but my mind, it stored it away, see?
What was that?
The closet door was open. Closet door was open. Not much, just a crack. See, I knew I left it shut.
I gotta say, this short really gets under my skin. The gritty camera work combined with the gritty, almost sad-looking house that they're shooting in, and the pulsating score is really unnerving. One of the best scenes is where Lester loses his final child. You see, it's established that before dying, the kids would always complain of the boogeyman in their closet. You'd think after the second kid dying, you'd actually put some stock into those claims, but what do I know? I don't have any children. Lester runs into the child's room to find him up in bed screaming about something. Billings opens the closet only to be startled by some old junk falling out, and then he leaves the kid in the room, where you guessed it, he dies.
Be a good fellow. I promise. We'll talk tomorrow, Mr. Billings.
Yes, we're hitting that 30-minute runtime. Please, get the hell out of my office. Billings then sees that the receptionist is gone, so he returns to the therapist's office, where he finds him doing what all perfectly sane therapists do, chilling in a dark closet.
It is only a game, Mr. Billings.
Chirp, chirp, the ending is laughable, but The Boogeyman is clearly the big winner between these two shorts. It does a good job being unnerving and establishing mood. The director did a really nice job using the limited resources he had to create a spooky little horror short. The woman in the room, on the other hand, is dull and lifeless. Pretty shocking that this is the one that produced the award-winning director.
You know, maybe if you think of a thing long enough and you believe in it, maybe it becomes real.
Now, before I let you guys go, I want to end the show a little bit differently here. I just recently as in today, hit 1,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to thank you guys, from the bottom of my heart, for supporting and subscribing to this channel and commenting and having really fun conversations with me. You know, I know that 1,000 subscribers really doesn't mean that much at the end of the day, and it's sort of small peanuts to a lot of other channels out there. But it really does mean a lot to me. It means so much that there are people who enjoy the channel and want to have conversations and want to give suggestions and just genuinely like watching these videos. And it honestly warms my heart that there are more than 1,000 people out there who like the channel enough to subscribe to it. So instead of ending these videos like I normally do, I just wanted to say thank you guys. And I know that I've been busy lately working on other projects, but I promise to keep more content coming, especially since so many of you guys have reached out and said so many nice things. So yeah, this one's for you guys.
You know, maybe if you think of a thing long enough and you believe in it, maybe it becomes real. Maybe all the things we were afraid of as kids, all the monsters like Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy,